So do you really need this Procreate keyboard for when you're drawing on the iPad? We're going to be talking about this one from Pen Tips in this video, as well as some alternatives that you can find on Amazon. What we're going to do is basically compare. I'm going to talk a little bit about what is included in the keypad itself, and then give my final thoughts on whether or not you need it, because I get this question a lot from friends that also use Procreate, also draw on their iPad. They go, is it really necessary? Do you really use it that often? Isn't it faster to just double tap with your hands or swipe down or whatever? But let's go ahead and talk about this Pen Tips version keyboard. This is the Pen Pad, and I have to say they made an unboxing experience not unlike Apple. I think this was really neat how they packaged everything together, and it was extremely fast to get this thing up and running. You basically just switch the panel on that's here on the back over to on, and then you just hit your Bluetooth notification, which is up here in the top right. You hold that, and then that will get you synced up with your iPad. You just select it from your iPad menu. Let's look at a comparison. I have the Pen Tips pen pad, and then right next to it I have a different pen pad, as you can see right here, almost identical. I mean, I would be remiss to believe that these two keyboards are different. One I obviously got straight from the Pen Tips site, which you can check out that link down in the description. I am an affiliate of Pen Tips. I think they do a great job. We're also going to be talking a little bit later about their screen protector, and then we're also going to be talking a little bit about the Pen Tips that I like to use, which are these ink ones with the metal tip on it. I think that's really cool. But back to these keyboards, I think I would be remiss to state that these are completely different, because when I'm looking at them and you're looking at them, the only thing that is different is where the keys are placed. So for example, the backspace on the non-pen pad, the kind of knockoff Amazon version, is in the top right, and there's just different keys here. Does that make a difference necessarily for how you're editing? Depends on what app you're going to use. The one that I have here that I just got on Amazon that was not branded specifically to Procreate, it was actually branded to also Illustrator and Photoshop. So maybe that's why the different keys on this pad are in different areas, and there's not like Procreate specific things. Like for example, the quick menu, which when you click that, it will open the quick menu that is in Procreate, which I think is really neat. Here's the kicker though. This one, the one that was on Amazon that does look identical, is no longer in circulation. I tried to find it for you so that I could link it down in the description. There are other knockoff kind of keyboard pad versions of this that you can find on Amazon. None of them look really aesthetically pleasing. A lot of them are plastic. These are actually metal. The pen pad one is aluminum, which is really nice. And the one that I had that was from Amazon is unfortunately discontinued. My thought is that probably there was some sort of patent, and perhaps Pen Pad paid to have it completely for their own use, or perhaps they acquired that company, or perhaps they're working exclusively with them to only deliver this kind of top tier pen pad for Procreate, and then that's when they started switching around all the keys and really making it a much more solid experience. So let's get into some functionality. Obviously here on the pen pad, you do have your HSB, you have a quick full screen, you have your layers, redo and your undo, which is nice. You can instantly access your pencil, you can instantly access your eraser. What I love the most are obviously the backspace. I probably keep my finger on that the most, because if you're a lettering artist or an illustrator, you use that two-finger touch all the time. I guarantee you. That's like, I was actually drawing on paper the other day, and like an idiot, just like stopped drawing and two-finger touch, and I was like, oh, I have to erase on this piece of paper because I was so used to drawing in Procreate. Let me know if that's ever happened to you in the comments. I keep my finger on this undo button, and it does actually make it a lot faster. I don't need my right hand for drawing. I'm left-handed, so obviously if you're the opposite, you would have your left hand on the keyboard, right hand on your Apple Pencil. I keep my right hand, the hand that's not drawing, on this keyboard, and it actually is a lot faster. Here's another reason I like it a lot. You can instantly open that color panel, and boom, you can just go ahead and start moving your cursor around to get that exact color you want. Or over on the bottom right, you can use that color dropper tool, and then boom, that instantly brings up the color dropper. I don't have to keep moving my Apple Pencil up to the top right and then back to my board, up to the top right, back to my board. I can just boom, I can click it really fast. Another reason I like it a lot is because it'll access the layers panel quickly. I can just move over, boom, I can access the layers panel, and I'm good to go. Now, there are a lot of other buttons here. Like I don't really use the hue and I don't really use like the other kind of color accessories. I do use the select key a lot. I do use the undo and the redo eraser. I do use the increase or decrease pin size a lot. I use those a lot. And then of course you can copy and you can paste between layers, which is really nice. I do use the quick menu button a lot. And so the question I get asked a lot is, but is it really worth it? Does it actually speed up your process? The problem with that question is that I really don't know for you. I can say that I was just as skeptical of it. I was just like, is this a gimmick? I do believe that it improves my workflow because of what I said. I don't have to move my cursor from where I'm drawing on the iPad anywhere. I can keep it exactly positioned where it is. Even if I have to take a split second to look with my eyes over to the keyboard to make sure I'm clicking the undo or I'm clicking the erase is where it is. So I don't have to necessarily like worry about like, okay, now I got to come back and like zoom in and find where my place is, or zoom out and find where my place is. The answer to the question for me is yes, I do believe that it is necessary because I do so much undoing. And I don't have to like, let me just get the pen. Like with the pen that I'm drawing with, I don't have to necessarily like lift up 2 fingers down, lift up 2 fingers down. I can keep it just like this. And then on this hand, I can just draw, undo, draw, undo, draw, undo. Now I know that's like a really specific use case that you might say, yo, the pen pad is $100. Like, do I really need the pen pad for just undoing a lot? Well, like I said, the other reasons I use it a lot is because I can go into full screen immediately. I can go use the eyedropper tool a lot. I can open up the color panel a lot, and the quick panel menu. If you've ever been trying to find a layer that has something on it that you need to erase and there's like a little speck or something and you're just like, oh my god, I cannot figure out where this is, you want to open up that quick menu layer. You want to try to identify where it is and get to it fast. The only thing that will take you some getting used to is just kind of remembering where your hand is on the keyboard. Like I said, most of the time I'm keeping my middle 2 fingers on the undo and the redo buttons, and because I've been using this, I know that right below it on the right is the brush, and on the left, which I'm not doing a good job, on this one is the brush, and then on this one is the eraser. And so I know that when my fingers are on that undo redo, I can just drop down, go over to the eraser if I need to, or switch back and forth. And it really saves seconds. So I'm not saying that it's going to save you hours of your workflow, but like it does save time. Like I would be telling you a lie if it doesn't. I did an entire project where I was making this brush that kind of mimics what a cutout of paper looks like. Basically looks like ripped paper edges. It looks like you're drawing ripped paper edges for a sermon series of posters that we're hanging up in our church. Getting it exactly right around the illustration, I could just like draw, and if I hated where it was, boom, I undo. Yes, it does actually help a ton. I would give it a chance. You can always return it, to my understanding. I think you can check that out. I also have a discount code for you down in the description, where if you just use my link, it should just automatically apply my discount. Otherwise, you can let me know if it doesn't work and I will get you a discount, because again, I am an affiliate to PenPad. I think that they do a great job, and I do like some of their other products, which we're going to talk about. First and foremost, I believe, is the Pen Tips ink, which is this screw-on metal tip, which is really, really great. I use this a ton. I've been trying to find a pen tip that mimics more of the ballpoint pen style, and so as you can see here, I'll put it over my ring, which is a little dark. You can see it does mimic more of a ballpoint pen, and it just gives it that much more tactile feel, because I am using a screen protector. Right now, what's on my iPad is the paper-like screen protector, which is for the brand new iPad Pro. I did a previous video on that. You can check out the iPad case review video, or you can check out the paper-like versus AstroPad video. I think I'm going to do a video comparing all 3 of those together. So you can see just from listening to that you get a much more tactile feel. Sticky's not the right word. It's just more rough, and that's what I like. I like more of the inking rough feel, and I think that they nailed it. I mean, I think I have some over here. Yeah. So I have some over here that are from Amazon that I think are definitely not as nice. They were like $8 or $9. Okay, so I know that's probably a little hard to tell, but one of these is literally just like a little point. It's just literally like a little metal point that's sticking up, and it's almost like not ballpoint like at all. And then when I'm using the pen tips version, the metal pen tips one, it basically perfectly replaces what the Apple Pencil tip was, just with a more rounded metal tip. Feels a lot more like a premium product. And then the little case that it comes in, it has little slots that you can put your other Apple Pencil pieces in there, like the other Apple Pencil tips, so you don't need to lose them or anything. I actually have this little guy right here where I can just keep all of my stuff in. It's like this little pin cubby thing, and then there's this drawer on the bottom. I actually use that to just collect everything I'm not using. So I can link one of those down in the description as well if you want kind of your own version of that. But then the last thing I'll just mention is that they do have what is called a pen mat. And so this will be a screen protector, a kind of paper-ish style screen protector, very similar to something like a Paperlike or like an AstroPad, all companies of which I absolutely love. I have talked to all of them. So if you do want to do an order and you say, hey, I'm going to grab the keyboard, let me go ahead and throw a pen mat in there. When you go to do that, it'll actually upsell it for a discount anyway. But if we're talking about cases, I absolutely love this bumper folio case from Paperlike. And you can check out the recent video I did where I was comparing the Paperlike bumper case and then a leather bumper case I found on Amazon. Actually, my wife found it because she also has an iPad Pro. Both of them I love. I have not been able to find another case that I like better than these. I think this one is my favorite because of the folio-ness version of it, and I can put my iPad Pencil in it. Go check out that video if you're interested in the bumper case. Anyway, final consensus on the pen pad, which is what we were talking about. I know we kind of derailed and we talked a bunch of Procreate and iPad products, but for me, it's worth it if you draw a lot. If you're an illustrator and you draw a lot, or if you're a lettering artist and you draw a lot, I do think it's worth it. I think that it is at least worth investigating to see whether or not you like it. You're just gonna have to try it. That's my thing. And I like, if you hate it, just send it back, I guess. Just return it to them. Let me know in the comments what you think. Like, are there other questions that you have about it that I can try to maybe go into more specifics into, or I can answer them in the comments? All of the links are down in the description. I would greatly appreciate if you check them out. You can buy some stuff on Amazon, totally fine. I've linked those down because I'm a consumer. I like my stuff fast. But if you do decide to support pen tips, I will also get a commission from those. And I think it is just generally better to try to directly pay for the thing through the brand, because what's happening on Amazon is they're charging you pretty much the same price, but then the company actually loses money because they're paying to have that product listed. Amazon's taking a commission. So if you care about that and supporting small businesses, I would suggest purchasing it straight from PenPad. That's what I do for Paperlike, AstroPad, and PenPad. Check out those links. Check out my other videos. Oh, please subscribe to the channel. That would be sick. And I will see you in the next one.